Okay, so imagine this. You're sitting in class, confidently learning, but you're not even supposed to be there because you haven't paid a cent towards tuition yet. And you might even be wondering, Naomi, how did you even end up in college with $0? I'll get into that soon. Hey, my beautiful souls. We're tuned into the podcast where impossible doors swing wide open, miracles sneak upon you like plot twists, and God gets all the glory. Today, we're kicking off my College Miracle mini series. And trust me, this story has more twists than a Netflix drama. So grab your snack, a drink, and get cozy because we're about to dive in. Before we begin, I want to emphasize that these stories are for empowerment purposes only. These are my personal experiences based on my journey with God and my level of faith. And it is important for you to know that the way God will grant my blessing may not necessarily be the way He will grant yours. So be empowered, but be led by the Spirit. Not because I did it, mean that you should do it too. Here's a little bit of background about me so you can have some context. I'm Naomi. I'm an aspiring gospel artist. I am a worship leader and entrepreneur. And of course, I'm a child of God. I love to sing. I've always loved singing from I was a little girl, but I did not put myself out there to sing at all. So I wasn't singing in churches. I wasn't doing anything with my voice per se. The only room or place that I was used to when it comes to my voice was the bathroom when I'm in the shower, right? Because that was my grand stage. And my room or my house are on the top of my roof. I did not get myself involved in the performing arts per se. I was a part of the club, but I was not acting. As I told you before, I was bullied in high school. So that kind of crippled me in terms of fear. And I did not want to be seen by the public eye. So I kept my voice to myself. And the friends that I have at the time also did not encourage me because they would say things that I can't sing and I will never make it in a music career, even though that was something that I dreamt of. And I believed them. And from that moment where that particular friend told me that, I just kept to myself. But the Lord had other plans. He wanted me to pursue singing. He wanted me to do it as a full-time career. And so he led me to school. And I am now a graduate of the said school. But the Lord had, and this is how God decided to get me into singing because I was, I was a little bit stubborn. Yeah, I was a little bit stubborn. So when I started going to my church, I started to gain a little bit of confidence because I was learning from the teaching that they were teaching back then about love and loving yourself and stuff. I was starting to heal some of my wounds and I wanted to pursue God. I wanted to pursue the things of God and the heart of God and my purpose. And people started to discover that I could sing, right? Because I was in the bathroom, the ladies' bathroom, and one this was around the time when I was getting membership at my church. And someone from my group, they heard me in the bathroom and they insisted that I had to perform for our membership day because we had to put on a whole performance and they insisted that I should sing. And I told them, no, straight up, no, I'm not doing that. You crazy. I'm not doing that. But they went ahead and told whoever was in charge at the time, and I was forced. I could not say no. And I sang and I was so nervous. But the experience was awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really nervous, but the experience was awesome. Like, Almost like a dream came true. But even so, I was still reluctant because I was still afraid of the public eye. And there was this artist around the time, an upcoming artist at the time, several artists actually, kept coming to me and asking me to do collabs with them. And I'm like, does it look like I sing? Do I look like I sing? I was always turning them down. And they were just persistent and they just kept coming. For some reason, they just kept coming. And I turned them down until, they stopped coming for a while. And I made this friend there at the church, and she came to me one time and asked me a favor. She said she is recording a song, but there's something wrong with the chorus, and she wants me to write a chorus for her so she can record it. So I said, no problem. I can do that. I will do it for you. I wrote the song. And I don't know, somehow I went from writing the song to recording the song with her. Like she set me up because she asked me to write a song, and then she told me that when I gave her the lyrics and sang it for her, she's like, "Okay, meet me meet me at X location at X time for the recording." I'm like, Wait a minute." I was like, wait a minute. That was not a part of our deal. No one said anything about me singing. No one said that. Absolutely no one. We did not make that agreement. And then she went ahead and said, I don't even remember the exact words, but she went ahead and said something that this is from God and something about his will or something. I don't know. But I listened, right? I was like, okay, I'm gonna be obedient because, people kept coming to me about saying, probably this is what God wants me to do. I'll do it. I did the recording, went to the recording studio, and it was so amazing. I had a grand time. I was new to it because I remember I don't have no experience in singing, but singing in my bathroom, that's it. So I don't know how to harmonize. I don't know how to do anything. I just know how to sing on key. Yeah. So I was going there. I went there and he told me what to sing and everything. And I did it and it was an amazing experience. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm done now. No, I recorded the song is released and I'm fine. And I'm happy because it's over. Guys, why did she come back to me and tell me, oh, somebody got us a spot on Smile Jamaica? I don't know. I don't even know. Like, this is our first single. Like, how the hell we reach from recording your first single to Smile Jamaica performing the song? I'm like, that's crazy. And I guess God saw that I could not manage that and said, the Smile Jamaica thing not won't work. But he did set us up to get a radio interview at New Star. No, at New Stock. That interview for me was horrific. I was so nervous that my voice was gravel. Like you could listen to me. The way I was nervous, you would think I had gravel in my throat. I was like, my name is Naomi. Oh. It was so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I vowed never to do a interview again. I did not want to do an interview ever again after that one. It was so nerve wracking. I was so nervous. I did not want to do it, but they were expecting us, and I can't let her go by herself. How would that look? And I just felt like I was just constantly being pulled out of my comfort zone. And that is how God decided to pull me, right? And I kept looking back and all the attempts that God would make by sending persons to have me do collabs and the whole experience with this person who I did a collab with. And I realized that this is something that the Lord wanted me to do. And I've had confirmation about that many times also. I was just afraid of doing it because I was afraid being a public eye and I could not see myself doing it. I honestly could not see myself singing because when I go in front of a crowd, it was just crippled by fear. So I could not see myself doing it, but I said to myself, if I don't do it, I know I'm gonna regret it. And so I decided, hey, I'm gonna sign up for school. And I had no money. I didn't grow up in a family where we had our finances was great. Like our financial situation was very poor. When I left high school, I did not even think I would ever be able to go to college because I could barely go through high school. How am I supposed to go through college? But I had faith and I stepped out in faith and applied for the college. I applied for scholarships, many scholarships, because I said, okay, I need something to send me to school. My parents are not going to be able to afford it. And I won't be able to afford it. So I said, let me go apply. And when I applied, I got through for the school. And I also um did well for an interview for a scholarship. I did a scholarship interview and I did well. And I said, okay, I have this scholarship in the bag. But when it was time for me to go to school now, I didn't hear from them. I didn't hear back from the scholarship. And I said, okay, school is about to start. What am I going to do? Right? So now I'm going to school. I have nothing, right? I went to orientation, but I have nothing. I have no idea what my courses are. What am I gonna do? You know, all I know is that I'm majoring in singing, in voice, and I don't know where I'm supposed to go, where my class is at, what um sub courses am I doing. I don't have no clue what I'm going to do. And so I decided that, hey, I don't have the first cent to register, but I'm going to go to school in faith, right? And I went to school and I said to God, I turned to God and I said to him, God, I don't know what I'm going to do now, but the first person that passes me and I go to, please let that be someone who is doing the exact course or study that I am doing, this exact major, so that I can have a timetable so that I can go to my classes. If I stop the wrong person, I'm going home. I saw this girl pass me by and I called to her and I said, hi, how are you? What are you doing? What are you studying? And she said, I'm a voice major. And I'm like, oh my God, me? What year are you in? And she told me what year she's just starting out. And I said, me too. And I'm studying voice too. And then we became good friends. And that is how I got access to the timetable and started going to classes. And I was going to classes for a good solid 3 months without paying a penny towards tuition because I said, hey, the scholarship won't have to pay because I don't have it. And I have to wait on them. I know they're going to reach out. They haven't reached out to me, but I know that they were going to reach out to me. And every single day I was in class, I was threatened. The students were threatened, not just me. Like persons, um, an authority head would just come into the class and say that there's some students who haven't paid for tuition yet, and if it continues like this, we will have to start pulling you out of classes and so on and so forth. And whenever that happened, I just put on my straight face. All right, I'm just like, please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't put me out. I'm just there praying, and then eventually the office learned that I was attending classes without paying tuition, and they decided that they're going to ban me from my voice classes until I pay, right? And I was like, okay, okay, God, what am I gonna do now? Because I came here so that I can hone my skills and hone my voice, and now I'm being banned from my voice classes because I don't have any money to pay them. And my voice teacher, she loved me so much. She kept coming to me and saying, Naomi, when are you going to get the payment? When you have so much potential and so on and so forth. And I kept telling her that God was going to come through for me. He's going to do it. If I'd never seen the righteous forsaken, like I just, in that moment, I was just preaching and I was just empowering myself up. Like in that moment, I was saying, God has never let me down, and which He has never let me down for real. And I kept reassuring her and reassuring myself that God will never leave me nor forsake me. And she was so impressed by that moment that for years after that, she kept reminding me of that moment when I said to her that God will never leave me, God will never forsake me. God would never let me down. He always come through for me. He has never failed me yet. She has always reminded me of that moment. The good thing was that even though I was banned from my voice classes, I actually heard back from the scholarship. They said, okay, you are approved to get this scholarship, but it won't come until November. So that is how the 3 month span worked out. I had to wait for the money to come in November. And that was a problem because the school wanted commitment. They did not just wanted, a promise from the mouth. And when I tried to reach out to the Scholarship Foundation to ask if they could provide a written commitment, they said they don't do that. So I could not get that. And so I had to sit out class for like a month and a half and so or so. And trust me, that was a very challenging period because I was missing out on important time to, improve my voice and my skills, knowing that I just had this raw talent. Because growing up, I did not do anything or know anything about singing or how it worked. I just know I can sing. And so this really, you know, really felt like this was really a setback. But God knows what He's doing, and I trusted God. Listen to me. Faith look crazy until it doesn't. God really had me walking in classes looking like a millionaire, looking like $100 when my bank account was saying zero. But that's the beauty of faith. It fills a gap between where you are and where God is taking you. Can you guess what will happen next? Tune in next week as we delve deeper into this story. And trust me, the tea will be piping hot. So make sure you share it with a friend. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Do not keep the blessings to yourselves. Until next time, and remember, it moves mountains, but sometimes it starts by moving your feet.